Hey guys, this is Dave from Homegrown Herps. So it's been a little while since I've been on and done anything, so I thought I'd do a little video to try and explain a bit more of what I found is how the candy albino complex works, and try and explain that a little more, because obviously I've done a pairing this year and it's thrown up a couple of different scenarios. And obviously with the candy and albino being an allelic, I also paired up a phantom potion het candy to the mix, which also then obviously gives me another allele to work with. So I wanted to sort of clear up, because I've had quite a few people ask me about the candy type gene and how it works in line with the albino. So what I thought I'd do is try and break it down into layman's terms, easy to explain the same way as I learnt it, simply because I'm one of the thickest blokes you could ever meet, so I have to do it simple, else I just won't get it. So bear with me as we do it, and hopefully we'll get through it together. So as you can see in front here, we have sort of, I've just used the letters just simply because of what they are. So CC is obviously the candy. So if we say this is mom and that is dad, right, we have got capital letters, so we have got two traits of candy, which makes it a visual candy. Two traits of candy making it a visual, yeah? So if we take candy and candy, we are going to get pure candy. Exactly the same that way and that way. We are going to get candy every time, simply because it's a normal recessive. So two traits, two copies makes itself. It can't make hets, all that sort of stuff. It has to make itself because it's two visuals. So exactly the same would then happen with albino. When it starts to get confusing is when you go into stuff like this. So as you can see, we have candy this side, and again we'll go female and male. What we're saying here is that this is a visual candy to a visual albino. So as you can see, there's two copies of the gene to make it visual. Two copies of the gene to make it visual. Now obviously if it takes one part candy, one part albino, exactly the same here, one part candy to one part albino, you are going to get candino. Nothing else will be in the mix, simply because it's only taking one copy of mom and one copy of dad. And to make a visual of that one, it needs to have two copies. So it would have to have two copies of candy or two copies of albino to be either one. So the babies will all come out candino. Now what makes it confusing is this, as such, is not a visual. I know it sounds really confusing, but it's not an actual visual candy or albino as such. It's actually a double het. So basically this is a double het, visual double het. You will see them, yes Chase, you will see the babies being of colour, visual, but they are as visual double hets, simply because it's only carrying one copy of candy to one copy of albino, making it a double het. So even though it's visual, it is only a double het. Right, your next instance is where it gets funky. So if we would take a candino to an albino, you are going to get two scenarios. You are going to get albino to albino to give you albino, which again is visual. You will then take one copy from mom, one copy from dad, and you are going to make candino. Now this scenario isn't too bad, simply because once the babies start to colour up after about 3 or 4 sheds, you're going to start to notice the visual difference, simply because candino will have a purple hue. Albino is going to stay pure white. It's that simple. The time it starts to get really funky is when you do this, which is Candino to candy. And the reason this gets confusing is simply down to the gene itself. So if we take candy to albino, again as above, we will get Candino. If you were to take candy and candy, you're going to get candy. Now when I say it's going to get confusing, I simply mean because candy and Candino are extremely hard to tell the difference. It takes quite a few sheds before you physically see the difference. My clutch that I have at the moment is now on 5th shed, and it's only really starting to just get apparent what's what, and there is still some that I'm a little bit confused on. So I will give you a instance. So mine wasn't fully the same. So mine was Candino to a het. So mine was a little more difficult simply because obviously I've got Candino and then I've only got one copy on that side, yeah? So what that does is it gives me one copy going this way, yeah? And also with this one, only one copy going this way. So I can have candy and Candino in visuals, but I can only have either albino or candy hets. So non-visuals will only be hets of either candy or albino. They won't be like this, Candino or albino, simply because, as we've gathered earlier, Candino is a visual. Even though it is a double het, it is still visual. So the only way to tell if your hets are candy or albino is simply to breed them out. That is it. There is no real way of ever knowing which one's candy or which one's albino. But just give me a few seconds and I'm going to try and show you some physical differences between candy and Candino. Right guys, so we are going to start with this little one. So this little one here, as you can see, it's actually one of the ones that for sale is a phantom candy. This one's a male. Now this little boy, as you can see, is extremely dark purple. The purple in him is extremely bright, vibrant, and he is just a stunning snake. If it wasn't for the female, I would have definitely kept this boy back, because to me he's just beautiful. So that is a candy. Now this little one is actually another one that's for sale. This is a male Candino, Mojave Candino. So as you can see, a lot less purple, and there's hardly any purple to it. It's just very light. But as you can see with the Mojave, there tends to be a lot more blushing, a lot more side pattern. But again, absolutely beautiful. And what I'll do is to show you the physical difference. There you go. Obviously they're two different genes. One's Mojave, one is Phantom. But you can physically see there is an outstanding difference in purples. But as I say, this is only starting to notice after around 5 to 6 sheds. This one has really started to pop now. Okay. Okay, so on to the next one. Now, this little one here, again, is a Phantom Candy, but this one is actually a holdback just because I'm absolutely blown away with this girl. I really am. But as you can see, again, extremely dark. This one is actually the darkest one. Was part of the reason why I kept it back, not really so much for being a female, just that I am definitely struck on the point that this is a pure candy. And you will notice with the candies, as they start to get older, they do get more of a, like, purple's not so purple, it's more of a subtle brown colour, and that's what this one will start to do. But again, absolutely outstanding. This is another holdback. Now this, again, is a Mojave, but this is a candy. So this isn't a Candino, but it isn't as dark as the other one I've just showed you. But I'm still convinced this is a candy, not a Candino, simply because it is a lot darker than all of the other. So I'll just get the other Candino for you a second, and you will see what I'm saying. So again, Candino, candy, still a lot darker in colour. So as you can see, there is still a good physical difference in the colours for the two Mojaves. As I say guys, I really hope that starts to help work things out a little for you guys and makes things a little easier when it comes to IDing the candy gene, and also working out how the candy gene complex works with albino. This would work exactly the same when it comes to the Tofino, because obviously it's just same gene, just different line. So I hope this really helps. Obviously it's a little different with the lavender albino, stuff like that, because they're not compatible with each other, so it's a completely different thing. But I hope you guys enjoy. Take care, keep smiling, and let's teach, not preach.